Alright, so, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Critical Botch, the only show that at present does not have a proper introductory monologue from me on the grounds that we have nothing to call back on for said introductory monologue. This is going to be a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign series where I, Brian M., will be the Dungeon Master. Joining me today, as the player base, we have Dorit87. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. Yeah.
Nothing more.
Do I introduce myself or the character?
We'll get to characters. We'll get to characters after I've introduced everyone else. Then we have Thomas K.
Hi there. I'm Thomas, and I'm excited to play.
Yep. Then we have.
Your introduction was much better than mine. Good job.
Then we have. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. L-E-L-A. Elile something. I don't know. Just say words, damn it.
Close enough.
All right. And all right. Okay. And last up, we have Z-Quan L.
Great, that actually pronounced it right. Hey, my name is Zikwan, and I love role-playing. I'm hoping to enjoy this campaign with y'all.
All right. So, introductions of the players are out of the way. I hope this is recording right, YouTube. Just bear in mind, I haven't done recording this elaborate before, so that if there's any errors in the recording or something goes wrong and I don't notice, kick me in the nuts and call it good. We'll be even. As you can tell, I'm a bit of a comedian. Or at least I try to be. So, let's get to character introductions. I'll hit in the same order that I did when introducing the players, starting with Dorit. Go ahead and introduce your character.
Alright, my character is Nalalia. She is a tiefling warlock. She is a bit of a bookworm, and it's slightly tricky to get her to be motivated to do something. The sort of story hook that is going to have to be pointed her way is some sort of seeker of knowledge, because she likes to learn and understand new things, which is sort of ironic because her warlock patron is the Great Old One, which is a being that's ununderstandable. So,
it's like, I can never understand you, yet I strive to do so anyways.
Exactly.
I'm following an impossible quest.
Exactly. It's like this combination of her subconscious and her, like, non-logical desire is to understand everything, but the logical part of her brain is telling her every time, it's like, nope, you can't, you won't, but she tries anyway. So.
Alright.
As far as appearance goes, as per a tiefling, she has red skin, red eyes, horns that are like a miniature version of like a ram's horns, but she covers them up with a cloak most of the time. However, she does have a thick, like, red demon tail that she doesn't bother to hide at all. So, she's tiefling and proud of it.
Alrighty. Alright, so that brings us up to Thomas's character. Go ahead and introduce your character, Thomas.
I'm playing as Tordek, the dwarven fighter. Used to be in the army, now that the war's over, he's kinda lost, and he goes out adventuring trying to find the dragon to capture them. And honestly, he's a simple dwarf, he just wants to get some coin, live a good life. But now he's still in the age where he can go out adventuring, and that's what he sets out to do.
Alright.
He has brown hair and a long brown beard.
As is traditional.
Yeah. Just a simple dwarf. Nothing much to tell you there.
Alright. Next we have, I'm just going to go with Elile A, because that sounds cooler.
Yep, alright,
So,
sounds
introduce
good.
your character.
I will be playing as Vashtin, a human druid from the Circle of the Forest of the Eyes All, or the Eyes All Forest Druids.
Pretty much.
As a reasonably accomplished but young druid, he has chosen to leave the Circle's seclusion and to go out into the world. He is of medium height and brown hair with green eyes.
All right. And then we have Zikwan's character.
Hey all, I'm Panmorn Varric, the Dragonborn cleric, and growing up, I was living in this dank fortress, and I didn't like it a lot. It was very boring. I never got to see the world. I mean, the world is such a big place, and I'm just stuck in this fortress thing. But one day, my friend and I decided to escape. Well, it turned out he didn't really want to escape. He sort of stayed behind, but I went ahead with it. And since then, I have seen the most amazing things.
Like
And-
trees.
Yeah, and birds. I mean, we don't have those up there. Like, these birds, they're so weird. They can fly, but they're not dragons. Anyways,
So we got the young, naive Dragonborn cleric. Gotcha.
Well, this will be fun with Natalia, that's
a
for
lot,
sure.
a lot of people are put off by my bronze scales, something about evil and stuff, but I'm not evil. I like my scales. Huh. Ever since we've been adventuring, I've had a little crush on Natalia. Don't tell her that, but
Wait, you guys have met?
yes.
Probably not
Don't-
yet. I don't think so. Unless you... Do you
Well, I
want
don't know when.
I was going to establish you guys meeting as the introductory session.
Oh, okay.
That's actually
Don't tell her
pretty funny. I like that. I like that.
Go ahead and roll with it once you characters have actually met, but, for now you don't know each other yet.
Okay.
It's probably,
And-
she might have seen him, and he's seen her, and then
Yeah, in the crowd.
it progresses like that.
Like, hey, we keep bumping into each other.
Whoa! How did that happen?
Stop following me.
Stranger danger!
So yeah,
Alright,
I'm really glad to be on this adventure.
alright. Okay, so that everything? Alright. Alright, so...
I think so, yeah.
Alright, so, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and ping out where you guys will be starting. You guys are starting right here. Everyone see that? Up the map.
Right
The map so I can see.
Like this.
Yep,
Okay, yeah.
The town of Wayrest. So, give me just a moment and I'll switch maps over to that. Why is it in the wrong order? Reorders. Oh, whatever. Alright, so here's the map of Wayrest. It's kind of a little haphazard. Because, I had to make it in a bit of a hurry. As you've all been here for a couple of days at this point. When you originally showed up in town, you all showed up at different times one day, but there's a festival going on. It's an annual celebration of the continued survival of the world, which I suppose I should real quickly go over the setting before we carry on, because viewers are going to be really confused because we're not in the Forgotten Realms. So, the world itself is called Artanel, and this campaign will be set, starting at least, in the kingdom of Dunmal. Now, the basic gist of the setting is that a long, long time ago, the world was lifeless, formless, just sort of a swirling mass of fuck. Not literally. So this unidentifiable supreme being came along, gave the world shape, focus, life, and an anchor for that life to persevere, in the form of a grand primal named Almoth. So, and then the supreme being just booked that he left. No one knows where he went or why. So after that, the races of the world began to develop over time. Obviously, as they developed, slowly but surely, they came to believe in, each race had a pantheon of 5 deities that they believed in, and they had similarities between each race, but there was conflict to a smaller degree about what each deity was. There were large disagreements. Maybe 1 or 2 wars fought in that time about it. Holy wars. Naive people, all that happy crap. But eventually they decided, okay, you know what? This is stupid. People are dying senselessly. Why don't we know they're there. why don't we just figure out what they are for sure? We can craft this powerful spell that will allow us to see briefly into the cosmos and see what our deities really are, and that way we can confirm who is right, and everyone else can just deal with it. And, some people begrudgingly agreed, others were totally enthusiastic about it because they were confident they were correct. But what happened is they cast a spell after many, many long times of preparation. They cast a spell, the cosmos opened up, and what they saw was devastating. They didn't see 5 gods. What they saw were 5 grand archdemons who had been posing as gods to each of the different races, but changing themselves up a little bit for each race to cause this conflict as sort of a way of tricking the people and messing with them. They were tricksters in a way, very malevolent tricksters. So once they were discovered, the Grand Archdemons left, they jumped ship and bailed, but not before, the first thing they did before doing that is they killed off the Grand Primal Almoth. So Almoth is dead, and that means the anchor for life in the world is dead, and thus life essence is slowly draining out of the world. Now, no one was really aware of this at first, and there was a long, bloody, drawn-out conflict about what they had seen and whether or not whoever cast the spell was biased and whatnot. Just a long while of wars before they were finally able to put a stop to it all, come together, and realize that the world is dying. We need to keep it going however we can. So some time of, research found that a means of keeping the world alive was through the sacrificing of dragons or just any powerful life force in general. They chose dragons because they have the most powerful life force of any mortal creature, and then transferring that life essence into the world itself. Depending on how old the dragon is, its life force can bestow either just a few months of life to a few years of life to the world. Now, with that said, not everyone is happy with this. For example, the Dragonborn are predominantly holed up in this massive glacial fortress way up north. They were not proud of this. They were not happy with it. They wanted no part of it for the most part. There are still a few scattered Dragonborn down on the mainland and Undone Mall and just all over the place. But for the most part, the Dragonborn are up in the glaciers. And the rest of the races are doing whatever they can, however they can, making use of their natural talents to try and figure out a more permanent solution to keeping the world alive and breathing, because sacrificing dragons can only work for so long. So they started sacrificing dragons roundabouts between 40 and 50 years ago, so that's pretty much the gist of the setting. I don't actually have a whole lot much more than that, other than some basic resource details or wealth details, just little unnecessary tidbits.
As an amusing side note, or an interesting side note, after I had read through what you had in the story for the basic setting, I sort of decided that that was in part Nalalia's goal, was if she can be the one to find and perfect this other means to sustain life, to keep the world going, then perhaps she can sort of redeem those archdemons, because in her mind they're not as evil and dark as they actually were, because she herself feels that, being infernal and being a demon herself in a certain means, she just sort of it couldn't have been all bad.
Right.
So.
Alright, so I do believe that it's everything we need to go over for the world. Now we can fully get started proper. So, everyone agree with that? Anything else you think I should go over before we begin?
Nope, I'm ready.
Alright.
Oh, I think we're ready.
Okie dokie. Alright, so you have all, at various points throughout the week, you've all come to the settlement of Wayrest. It's a fairly sizable town, not the biggest you've ever seen. It's relatively sizable. These different things on the map that look like individual buildings are more like clusters of buildings. So, whatever the case, there's been a week-long festival in the works and just sort of going for the last few days since your arrival. And as you can see by the map's marker thing, point 1 down here is the festival market. So that's where all of the big stuff is going on for the market, tents, stalls, all sorts of stuff just set up to sell stuff and just keep the economy thriving through this celebration. And there's all sorts of other stuff. So, I suppose I should, first of all, I suppose I should describe the town a little bit. So, let's see. The buildings of Wayrest are mostly made up of cut stone with wooden supports. Being a river town and not particularly near a large forest, it predominantly makes use of local not ore deposits, just stone from like the riverbed of the river nearby, and just from the surrounding area, and cuts that to make their buildings with. It's a nice little town. Not the cleanest you've ever seen, but it's nice for what it is. So, with all that said, let's go ahead. I'll just go down the line. Let's start with Thorred. Where are you in town, and what are you doing?
That's a stupid question. I know exactly where Nalalia is. She's in the bookstore. She's reading. Duh.
Okay. Alright. So I guess that just sort of covers that. Alright.
She's probably sitting at in like one of the corners somewhere, and like maybe some of the people in the library are like giving her a wide berth because she is this demonic looking thing and she doesn't really hide it. So she's probably just like off in a corner somewhere reading a book with her tail slowly just and she's kind of happy.
Ooh, a book. Ooh, a book. Ooh, a book. Ooh, a book. I like this book.
Precisely.
Right. Okay, so that's Nalalia. What about Thomas's character, Tordek, I believe it was?
Yes, Tordek. Well, he's new to the town. I think he first looked at Smithy, figure out if he's a dwarf. If he is, he would have talked to him, trying to find some new equipment and whatnot, and then looking through the festival itself.
All right.
Getting a feel for the city.
All right. Well, let me see here. All right. So, so like you're heading for the festival market?
Yeah.
All right. So the festival market is really busy at this time of the day. It's middle of the day, open skies, pretty sunny, pretty day. Occasional puffy cloud. So there are people all over the place. There's a lot of hustle, bustle, chit-chat going on. The voices are mingling. It's crowded. And all the things you would anticipate with that. So, now, as you are moving along, they're the stall the people in charge of their stalls, calling out to advertising, I sell this thing, or I sell this stuff, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, let me see here. As you are walking by one such stall, you hear a hushed voice. Psst! Hey, over here!
I'm looking around. Do I see the person?
You see no person except for a halfling who's running his stall, and it's quite clear he wasn't the one talking because he's shouting at people walking by about oddities and magical trinkets that he sells.
Well, I look kind of confused. If I can't see anyone.
Alright. As you are looking around, let's see how to describe it. You do note actually, could you roll a perception check for me really quick?
Sure.
You'll find I rely on that a lot. Like more than I probably should.
Mm-hmm.
What? You got a what now?
I'm just looking up my perception. It's a d20 plus 2.
Alright. So go ahead.
You can pick it on your
And
little
I
character
aced
sheet.
it. Yeah,
Ace! Cool. Not 20, so...
first 20.
Alright, so pretty much as soon as you start looking after realizing it isn't the halfling, you spot a crow in a cage, ruffling its feathers and staring very intently at you.
I'm approaching the cage.
Alright. So, as you approach the cage, the crow sort of leans forward and, to your surprise, whispers, someone actually noticed for a change.
Yeah, what are you? You don't seem to be a normal bird.
No shit, I'm a crow. I'm enchanted. That's why I can talk.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So, Do you mind doing me a little favor?
Let me guess, I should get you out of the cage?
Aced it.
Yeah. What's in for me?
Well, Well, for one thing, as long as you're a good enough sort, I'm more than happy to serve as a scout.
Oh. I'm looking around. It's the halfling who runs the stall, or where can I buy the bird?
The halfling is sort of, he's shouting on. You notice he flicks you a glance in your direction as he's calling out for people to come look at his stall. And, yeah, it's the halfling at the stall.
Hey, how much for the bird?
The halfling looks at you and then just sort of sighs and says, "Oh, funny story there. The crow's not actually for sale. He's more my pet than anything else. Sorry to disappoint. Many people have been asking that question today. Very understandable. He's a very interesting sort, Talking crows. Don't see that very often.
Yeah, where did you get it?
Well, funny thing, I found it with its... So, I don't know how this one happened, but it was caught in a bear trap. A small one.
Okay.
So I found him, and I nursed him back to health, and he's basically just stuck with me since then. The crow glares at the halfling.
Is he telling the truth? I try to whisper to the crow.
The crow whispers back, "Yes, but he is so annoying."
I chuckle.
What's so funny? The halfling asks.
Not much. I was just wondering what I would do with such a bird. So, there's no way for me to get you to sell me the bird.
Not as such, no.
Huh. How about 5 gold?
Let's hear, how much is 5 gold roughly again? Give me a
Isn't it
comparison of something valuable.
Well, a chicken is 2 copper,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
and I can't remember.
Slot.
Does gold convert tens by
Yeah.
tens or by
It's,
Yeah.
it's by
100s?
10s.
It's by 10.
It's by 10s.
So
Okay,
10
So
copper.
copper to gold is 100. So that's 50 chickens he's offered. Oh, sorry, that's for each gold. He's offered 250 chickens.
Jeez.
Or the
It's a lot
equivalent
gold.
of padded light armor, which is 5 gold. A shield is 10 gold.
Alright. So, go ahead and do you have like a persuasion skill or something charisma based to roll for that?
I would try to intimidate him, but...
Intimidate? With that statement, I don't know how well that would work.
Well, I guess I will just roll my charisma. Because...
Yeah, there is a persuasion skill that you can
Yeah,
roll.
but I'm not proficient in it.
Well,
So-
proficiency
Still-
just has a bonus.
Yeah, you can still roll the
Still-
skill even without the bonus, though.
So
Yeah,
I
you, can
rolled
just, you
8.
can actually just use the little dice that's beside the...
Yeah, so if you click on the dice, it rolls it for you.
Yeah.
Luckily, I wasn't the one rolling.
Well, I already rolled because I know I'm at -1, so I rolled an 8.
So,
I think we should all be proud that the second roll of the campaign was a critical failure, and the first roll of the campaign was a critical success.
indeed. Alright, so, the halfling thinks for a moment before shaking his head. No dice, sorry. As I said, he's sort of he's a pet of mine. And he's tough, I might add.
Yeah, but it's a bird and it's in a cage. It breaks my heart. Come on, man. 5 gold. Imagine what you can buy with it.
Yes,
It's a lot
250
of
chickens,
money.
I know.
I sigh, look to the birds, and I whisper to him, I will try to figure something out, but for now, I don't think I can help you very much. I'm sorry.
Just make
And
sure
I guess
just make sure someone gets me out of here, please.
I will do my best.
Thank you.
And I slowly walk away.
Alrighty. Alright, so now we've handled that little encounter. Let's jump over to where Elile's character is.
Vashton would likely also be in the festival market, as it's a positive cornucopia of all of the things from the outside world that he wouldn't have seen.
Right, so you're just sort of walking around with like this childlike enthusiasm. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, what is that? Ooh, what is this? Sort of thing.
Yep, almost certainly.
Alright. So, let's see here.
And I suppose eventually Nalalia would wander into the festival market. Maybe somebody got a little bit too uncomfortable with her being in the library and asked her to leave.
Sure, let's roll with that. Alright, so, in that case, Vashton, was it?
Yep.
Could you roll me a perception check, please? I just hit myself in the face. Alright, so this is a, let's see. So, let me think. Which one of those two numbers do we roll with? The 21 or the 12?
It's the first one. I'm switching my roll type to being 1d20. I didn't realize it was set on 2.
Okay, that works.
Well, what I would do, what it is that it does that automatically with the 5th edition dice, because it rolls implying that you may or may not have advantage. Yeah. So if you have advantage, you go with the higher roll. If you have disadvantage, you go with the lower roll. If you don't have either, then you go with the first roll.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, so whatever the case, that was a 21. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that spots it easily. So, Vashton, right?
Yep.
Still trying to memorize names here. So Vashton is meandering through the markets when crap, man, brain fart. Okay, when Thomas's character sort of walks by, and and what is Tordek wearing, Thomas?
He's wearing a chainmail.
Okay, so the majority of the people in this market are wearing commoner's clothes. This is the first person you've seen who is wearing significant armor of any kind, and also happens to be carrying any sort of significant weapon, though what that weapon may be, I'm still blank on.
It's a battle axe.
Okay, so you're definitely carrying a significant weapon.
Positively covered in blasphemous iron. I'd be staring.
Druids don't wear armor.
Druids wear armor, but they don't wear iron.
Not metal. They don't wear metal armor.
Right. They're all about the I hate metal.
Alright.
It's a special druid.
Alright, so so you're just sort of staring awkwardly at this dwarf who's meandering by. So I would assume then that means that Tordek would notice himself being stared at by this human who's just sort of standing still. I mean, as we know at this point, as I forgot to establish in the world synopsis earlier, humans are a bit of a rarity at this point because they suffered the worst during the wars. So they're a bit rarer than you might expect for a standard D&D setting.
Well, I guess if I notice it, I will just look at him, see if he is some sort of danger, but I guess not if he's just looking, and then won't really do much about it. Just let him look.
So now you got a dwarf in chainmail and a druid staring at each other in the middle of the street. Okay.
And slowly
Who's the
wanders
first one
up
to move?
a random tiefling.
Well, before we get to the tiefling wandering in on that, let's jump over to what Ziquan is doing, because I'm pretty sure we haven't covered him yet.
Panmorn is standing in front of the mayor's house, and he's going to ask a random bystander. So, these mayors, they're like clan chiefs, right?
The commoner, who looks to be a half-elf woman, just sort of chuckles and says, I suppose you could say something along those lines. They're more like, they're just in charge of the town itself, and they deal with, like, lesser outside affairs, I suppose. Just the town, surrounding area. But they aren't the highest rank. There are, we have lords of the kingdom, we have knights, we have the king and all that. So he's just in charge of the town itself.
So the town is like his family?
Where do you come from?
Oh, I come from the out of character. What was the fortress's name again? The Dragonborn Fortress.
I forgot to name it. But so we can just call it the Glacier Fortress.
Oh, I come from the Glacial Fortress.
That explains it. No, the mayor, every mayor treats their town differently, but I am willing to bet that our mayor does not view us as family, but he does do his best to take care of the town.
Huh.
Anyways,
So-
I'm afraid I must be going. I have to deliver these things to the market, so I bid you farewell. And she starts walking away.
The market?
Oh, didn't you know? There's a festival going on. Big market, big celebration, lots of bartering and selling and all sorts of stuff going on. It's on the southern edge of town. You should go look. And then she keeps going.
What are we celebrating? What are they celebrating?
She already said south side of town.
What are they celebrating?
Oh, okay. She pauses and says, well, for the most part, we're just celebrating another year of continued life of the planet. World, excuse me. I said world. I spoke wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. Huh.
All right, and she just sort of keeps walking away.
These outsiders are weird.
Indeed.
I guess. I guess I'm going to the. Never seen a market before. Guess I'll be going there.
All right.
Wonder if they have any new foods I've never tried.
Alrighty. Alright. So, we head to the market, and it seems as though the party's sort of starting to converge there. So, let's see here. Let's jump back to where Eliel and Thomas were, the druid and dwarf just sort of staring at each other with Dalred's character, the tiefling, just sort of approaching.
It's getting better and better by the minute. A dwarf, a human, a tiefling.
And she's actually just sort of approaching. She has one of the books that she sort of rented out from the library or whatever before she left is in her hand, and she's just sort of got her hand up and absently glancing at the book every moment, and then looking again to make sure that she doesn't run into anybody. She's basically being a more perceptive Belle walking with a book in her walking with her face in a book. Although she's not too perceptive of her tail, which is swishing behind her. People are like, ah! Because it's a crowded market,
Yeah. Alright.
Vashtin wonders aloud, how does he breathe encased in so much fire-cursed earth?
Okay.
Excuse me? Can I help you somehow?
Can you-
Start.
Can you feel the voice of the wind in all of that?
Voice of the wind. Yeah. Right. Sure, and I slowly start going backwards. Uh-huh. Sure you're alright? Do I need to call somebody?
I'm certain
for
I
help?
am. Are you?
Yeah, a minute ago I was feeling quite fine, and now you start to freak me out with your whisper of the wind talk or whatever.
He's fine. You are a druid. He is a warrior, a fighter. He uses the armor to protect himself. You have her magic, so as I do. I wouldn't
do have
worry about
magic
him
too.
much.
So yeah, at this point the tiefling has sort of paused and is now amongst you.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thanks for the clarification, I guess.
Vashton has shifted his pensive stare to the tiefling, as he hasn't seen one of those either before.
Oh my god, that's a tiefling! I've only seen those in books!
Nalalia just sort of, like, puts her hand, she crosses her arms in front of her chest, and she's just like, yes, well, trust me, I know. Books don't do our race justice. And then sort of snaps her tail.
Also, it looks like Dara just dropped out of the Roll20 room.
Did I?
Oh, you're back. Okay.
I didn't go nowhere. Yeah.
Okay, for a second you just vanished. Alright.
My internet's probably crappy.
Alright. So. And I'm supposing at this point that Zequan is sort of seeing those two just sort of interacting with each other as he's entering into the market. You know, he's...
Well, yeah, I'm the one that says, I'm the one who said, I've only seen those in books.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I get voices mixed up still.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Alright.
It doesn't help that I'm using a different voice when I talk in character.
Well, since I've never really seen a Dragonborn, I'm curious about him, so I start looking him up and down and try to figure out what's the deal with him. If, like, he's a real dragon or just some sort of dragon, if he's useful for me for the dragon hunt I'm trying to go on. So you can see me staring at you a little bit.
A human too? I know you're the Dwarffoot. A human too? Whoa, I thought you guys were all dead.
Only the stupid ones.
Harsh, but accurate.
Whoa. Oh
Alright.
my god.
Well, it's true, humans don't live very long.
Yeah, they don't, do they?
Usually
I
about
replace-
80 years, I think.
Whoa. You don't have a tail?
I do have
The
one.
dwarf doesn't have a tail either.
I don't have a tail, but some of the senior druids do.
Yeah. Whoa.
So, you're a Dragonborn.
Yeah, I'm here to see the world. I mean, in the glacial fortress, it's nice and comfortable and everything, but
Do
it's
you
so
have dragons in your
confined.
Do you have dragons up there in your fortress?
Out of character, do I? Do we?
Short answer is no. You don't. You just have the dragon born.
Not exactly. And I'm not quite sure why not. I mean, we're dragonborn. We should have dragons, but no, for some reason we don't.
Too bad. I'm really looking forward to meet one.
You too?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm hoping to find one too.
For the hunt?
The
The hunt. You know, it's sad, but
What
we
hunt?
need dragons. You don't know
Wait, what
about
hunt?
the dragon hunt? We are set out to
Uh,
hunt dragons, and we need to sacrifice them.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Okay, I guess you didn't know.
Wait. Can you go through this with me again? They don't tell us much about the outside world.
The world is dying
Nalia
unless
sort
we sustain it with dragon
Nalalia
essence.
just
So
sort of
hunt
steps
them.
between them and is just like... The other races hunt dragons in an effort to appease the life force that is slowly draining from our world. I hope to fix that myself, and perhaps save some of the few dragons that we have left. They don't want to hurt the dragons for their own enjoyment, although some do. However, it is a need that the world has, a need that I intend to fix.
Oh,
Any idea how to do that?
Not yet. And then she sort of looks into one of her books that you've got. Different one from the one she walked up there with.
Panmorn is processing this information.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Alright. Ah, no, wrong button. I opened up the help file by mistake when I went to roll a d10 instead.
So, do we have any sort of a crowd of people around us, considering that, everyone else is commoners and we're totally not?
And there are a few people who are sending you glances, but adventurers are not the most rare thing in the world. There are a fair share of them. They're not as common as in some settings, but they do exist. So you're not totally out of place. You are getting passing glances, but
it's less of the fact that we're adventurers and more of the fact that we are a tiefling, a dragonborn, and a human.
and
Yeah, that too.
All right, so
I think I'm the most common there.
yeah.
Even though I'm fully armed, I'm common compared to you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so as everyone's sort of standing there talking with each other, could you all roll perception for me really quick? Actually, what's everyone's passive perception?
Mine is 16 passively.
Jeez, that's impressive.
Oh, only 12 here.
Passive perception.
How do you calculate passive?
Passive perception, I'm pretty sure, is based off of your wisdom, I think, and it's based off, and it starts with a base value, I think.
Where is it located?
Wisdom and your perception skill on top of a base of 10. You can find it in your skills tab of your character sheet. There, on the far right of any of the skills is a blue box that has your passive value.
Oh, okay.
What he
Passive
said.
perception, 12. Passive
Then I
perception.
have a 12.
Alright, so does everyone have it above 10 then?
Yeah.
Alright, then no need to roll. Alright, so as you're just sort of standing there chit-chatting, you hear Tordek recognizes the voice as the halfling saying, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" And the rest of you don't know the voice, but it sounds small and whiny. So,
I turn around and see what's going on.
looks like some kids have come up to the crow and are poking fun at it, sticking their fingers into the cage, and the crow is looking less than amused.
Hey,
Oh my
stop
god,
that!
it's a bird in a cage! You guys keep birds in cages?
I approach the children and yell at them to stop. Stop that! What are you doing to the poor bird?
Wait, why is the bird in a cage? How does it fly?
Voshton is silently impressed with the dwarf's devotion to the natural world. It's no wonder he can still hear the voice of the wind in all that iron.
I get the feeling I'm gonna
That
like this
bird's
group.
gonna be mine. Get away from it.
The halfling shoots you an annoyed stare, and then the crow just sort of looks up before saying, "Oh, you wanted to hawk and fly? Like this?" And then he jumps at the side of the cage and knocks it off its perch.
Well, how do you fly with that metal around you?
Good point, he says, dazed and confused now. At which point the halfling sort of shoos off the kids. They're still laughing and giggling and just sort of still throwing insults at the bird, but now they're leaving, so...
Mr. Halfling, sir, how does the bird fly with all that metal around it?
The halfling sets the bird cage back up, and the crow's just sort of laying on the bottom, twitching, be like, eh. And then the halfling says, "Well, truth be told, he doesn't fly all that much unless he's in, the confines of my house, but we're not there very often,
But don't birds like to fly? I see them flying all the time.
They do. It's cruel to keep him in the cage. We need to free him. He wants to come with me.
How do you know that?
He told me.
Now the halfling is staring at you, and then back to the crow. He what?
He can
He
talk?
told me.
I
Yes.
heard him talk.
The crow looks and says, "Yes, I can talk, but it hurts to do so right now because my head is spinning."
No, it's not.
All animals speak if you choose to listen.
The crow
Other birds
groans.
don't talk to me.
Well, this one does.
The halfling just sort of steps in front and says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. The bird said what?"
You heard me, didn't you? He told
The
me
bird said
he
his
wanted
head
to
was
come with
spinning.
me. He said that too.
So, hang on a second. I need to look at something right quick.
Oh.
Do I need to... Brian, would you say that everyone is relatively close to where the bird is?
Yeah, you're all sort of standing around it. Why?
Okay. Nalia is going to sort of,
Do a thing.
she's gonna look...
Ah! Call dropped. Audience, hold up.
Did it?
Yeah, it paused for a second. I couldn't hear anything. Restate what you just said, please.
I didn't say much of anything, but okay. So Nalia is going to sort of look to where the bird is in the cage. It's like on the ground, right?
Yeah, it actually has been put back up on its perch, so...
Okay, so the halfling like, picked it up and put it back up on the perch.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna look towards where the bird is, and inside the cage, and she's just gonna sort of like mumble to herself. I know how to roll, and the cage is going to start to like show heat as if it's burning or getting really hot.
Hmm.
Metal. Do I notice that? I guess I do.
Yeah,
I would
probably.
imagine it would be pretty obvious.
But she's just looking at it. She's not, she's trying to hide that she's doing it, of course. But for sake of saying, let me boop. That is my demonic voice word thing, and I did prestidigitation. And I heated the cage.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, why'd you do that?
To see if it would... the intent was to either terrify the bird to push the halfling to open the cage, or to push someone else in the crowd to try to free the bird because they thought he was getting hurt.
Alright, well, let me just real quickly roll something here. Because I do that a lot, determine a lot of things. Okay. So, the crow looks around at the heating up bars and just flips out. Like, almost literally, he jumps off of the little stick in the sort of center of the cage that he uses to just sort of stand in the middle, and he jumps off, almost does a backflip, and lands on his head in the bottom of the cage, and then starts letting out like panic cries as the bars heat up and all that.
Wait, why is it jumping around? What's wrong
I'm
with the
yelling
crow?
at the halfling. Dude, open the cage. Can't you see it's burning?
How did
It's not burning.
such a naive little guy? So the
I'm a
halfling
dragon of fire. I know it.
the halfling looks at the cage, dumbfounded, and just sort of rushes up, touches the bars. How hot would this make the bars?
It doesn't make it hot at all.
It's probably, like, I mean, the spell says,
Well, in the linked spell description you gave, they're harmless things, so it's painful
Yeah.
but not damaging.
right, exactly. So it would be dubbed in the big description for the spell, it would be dubbed a harmless sensory effect. So it feels hot to the touch, but it won't actually, like, burn.
Okay.
That's like lightly warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, whatever the case, the halfling opens up the cage door, whatever you call it, the latch, and the crow just sort of shoots out. and then just sort of starts flapping his wings wildly and just sort of hovering above the halfling, and then basically says this. Yeah.
Told you I would get you out, my friend.
You didn't do anything!
I did many things. You just don't understand. You're a bird.
I'm insulted by that statement.
Don't make fun of each other. That's not nice.
He started it!
Oh, now we're pointing fingers.
Yes, we do.
The crow sort of comes to a landing in the middle of the street, and people are just sort of making sort of a circle around, observing what's going on. The crow sort of uses a wing to face palm.
Face wings.
Before looking up at the halfling and then saying, "Did I ever tell you how much I hate you?" The halfling blinks but otherwise doesn't respond.
Oh, come on, Mr. Crow. That was rude. Apologize.
The crow pecks you in the foot.
I shuffle over to the halfling.
Oh,
He just asked if you know that he hates you.
I'm kind of looking around and laughing to myself.
Nalalia sort of like leans down to the to where the crow is, or like where it recently pecked at the other person's foot, and she's just like,
Penmore.
"You're welcome."
The crow just
What's your
sort of,
name, Mr. Crow?
The crow turns to you and says, "My name is Akira."
Akara.
Yes.
Huh. That's a nice name.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Halfling, or what was your name again? I never bothered to memorize it. He turns back to the halfling, who still looks dumbfounded, and says nothing for a moment before the crow says, Hey, half pint, down here. What is your name? The halfling blinks before saying, Welby. Alright, Welby, piss off. And then the crow flies up and lands on Nalalia's shoulder.
Okay,
I'm looking
and then
sad.
Nalalia just sort of looks at him a moment, and then it's like, "Tell me, I'm curious. Are you a bird that was enchanted to speak, or a humanoid that was enchanted to look like a bird?"
The former. At this point, the halfling is, Welby is starting to sputter mad, like, what is going on? Then, Akira just sort of does this again.
I think the bird doesn't like you, Mr. Halfling Welby.
I told you that.
Welby just sort of blinks before saying, fine.
If you love something, you have to set it free.
You be quiet.
What exactly are you selling, by the way?
Welby blinks before saying, well, I'm selling all sorts of stuff, little exotic creatures, lizards, stuff like that. I sell odd trinkets, exotic stuff.
Nalalia looks to his to the little bird on her shoulder, and it's like, "Does he have any magical gear or anything connected to the arcane?"
Akira
She sort of
thinks
whispers it to the bird before the halfling.
yeah. Akira just sort of thinks for a moment before shaking his head.
Seeing as how you don't like him, and he has nothing arcane, Nalalia just sort of turns, and she's not interested in the halfling.
Okay.
Or at least whatever he's selling, anyway.
Okay.
Penmorn's going to make a just look around the stall to see if there's anything interesting.
There's a
Passive
lot
perception.
there's a lot of interesting stuff. None of it is useful to you.
Okay.
There's like exotic looking necklaces. There's a couple of lizards in jars, stuff like that.
Is this how it works for all of you? when you go looking for a spirit guide, you just buy one.
A spirit guide?
I like it. We have the oblivious and the naive oblivious. We got two oblivious characters in this party, and I'm loving it.
I tried to buy it, but he wouldn't sell it to me.
And I am assuming right now that Nalalia is just sort of walking away.
No, she at that line of talking of like a spirit guide and buying it or whatever, she sort of looks to the bird and she sort of mumbles under her breath that barely anyone else can hear except the bird, and she's like, "You wouldn't be a spirit guide for me. Not enough appendages."
Akira just sort of raises an eyebrow or the crow equivalent before saying, "Kinky." Did I just say that?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, that's canon now. And I think I killed one of the party members. Because I heard a squeak, like, ah!
Tiefling lady, what exactly was your plan to stop them from sacrificing dragons? I kind of like that plan. Go with that plan.
Go with that plan, yes.
Find another means of energy, another means to replace the life force, a fuel, even something as mundane as that, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure of what we can find just yet. But
hey, Welby, I don't suppose you sell a map to a type of energy that we can use instead of sacrificing dragons, do you?
He looks at you like you're an idiot.
I just facepalm.
Akira just sort of looks at you a lot and then says, I don't want to be around this halfling anymore. Can we go somewhere else?
and Nalia, who she didn't like facepalm hard. She just sort of did the and looked down for a moment, and then she hears that from Akira.
Akira. A-K-E-R-A.
Akira. She hears that from Akira, and then just sort of like, yes, and she wanders off. She's basically now looking for a stall that may or may not have anything related to like either the history and like trinkets of the past or something arcane.
And is the rest of the group gonna follow her?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm gonna whisper to her. It was you who did the thing with the cage, did it? Right?
Yes. What of it?
Good thinking. And I just walk. Continue to walk.
Okay.
And at the line of good thinking, Nalia just gets this sort of like it's like she's saying in her mind, but she's not saying it out loud. She's basically like, I have my moments.
Alright. So, alright, so, as you're sort of going to the markets and just looking for random stalls to look at, Akira sort of looks behind you, Darn, and is like, looks like we've got ourselves a fine little duckling following.
Yeah, maybe.
Vashton, standing at the back, looks behind himself to see if there are any ducks.
I love it. I just love it.
Nalia just she sees that, and then she just
What is Equine
Well-
rolling for? Looking for, someone roll perception.
I'm rolling perception to see if I see any ducks.
Oh, you don't.
Oh, yeah, here, I'll roll too.
Even for 20 it would be hard.
There are no ducks.
Where are the ducks?
Akira ignores that statement and then says, "So, what are you looking for, Horn Lady?" I'm sorry, I don't know your name yet.
My name is Nalalia.
Okay, what are you looking for, Nalalia?
The most important thing, information.
Ooh. What town are we in?
Nalalia, like, raises an eyebrow. At his, like, ooh thing.
And then Kara's like, "What town are we in? I never hear that. I never heard what town we were in from Welby. It was always kind of hush-hush about where we were."
Wayrest.
Wayrest. I don't know where that is. What's the closest big city?
Would Nalalia have a map, I would assume?
I would assume all of you probably have a map if you traveled here.
Yeah.
I
just
don't actually think
wander.
I have a map.
Yeah, I just
so
wondered.
2 of you don't have a map.
So Nalalia, like, goes into her pack and brings out the map and just sort of puts it in front of her so that Akira could see it.
And just for future information, the closest settlement would be Spellbridge. The closest big city is Spellbridge.
All right.
And
Yeah.
so Akira sort of lets out sort of like a click before saying, "Ah, I see. That's good."
Good.
Well, you see, how to put this? You did me the favor of getting me out of that cage. So, I think it's only right that I do a favor for you.
I'm listening.